I rate Tiny Titans issue 44. I didn't realise this was the one I had. I knew I had an odd Tiny Titans comic where they went up against Lightmaster, but I didn't know, or I didn't remember, that it was also the one with the gladiator thing. Something I learnt today is that, well, I don't know DC as well as me Marvel, so I was completely unaware of this fact. Tiny Titans was cancelled at issue 43 in 1972. The series ended there, issue 43. Then, in 1976, DC revived a few of their books and continued on from where they left off. And Tiny Titans is one such series. Issue 44 here came out November 1976. 4 years after the last issue, and it is cancelled again 9 issues later at issue 53. This one is entitled The Man Who Toppled the Titans, and it was written by Paul Levi's and Bob Rebadow, but I think it is mostly Bob Rebadow who will actually write the next 9 issues as well. We have the Tiny Titans meeting up for a reunion after having split up at the end of issue 43. Our small squad comprises of Robert, Donatello, the Flask, the Willie West version, and Red Arrow. We catch up on Red Arrow. He recently underwent some ordeals over in Green Lantern series. He got hooked on Skag, but he has overcome his addiction now. Go away, you. It is nice to see them tackle the Red Arrow drug shit here, or at least acknowledge it, and how none of his Tiny Titans friends made any appearance in that story. I don't know if they all know the details, but Red Arrow, he's back on his feet now, it seems. The other character we have here is Mallard Ducklan. He is a non-powered guy who tags along, and the team apparently treat pretty poorly, at least here. I don't know my pre-Wolfenstein and pre Tiny Titans that well, but I know 2 things about Mallard Ducklan. He was introduced saving the team from a street gang. He punched out a street gang for the Tiny Titans. And he also had the first interracial kiss in comics, but it was at a time when that was so unwelcome that they had to colour it all blue to minimise the controversy of having a black man kiss a white woman. Mallard Ducklan has no powers. He doesn't even have a code name. He stuck around with the team as a member, however. And here, they are attacked by Lightmaster, the hard Justice League enemy. His appearance here is the first in a string of appearances that will make future comic book writers think that Lightmaster is a chump and a loser that gets beaten by kids, and that he needs to be retconned and re-established as a sinister rapist. It's frustrating because if he is going to be beaten by kids, it should be the Tiny Titans. There shouldn't be a problem with him being defeated by the Tiny Titans. I know some of his subsequent appearances bring him even lower, but I've been defeated by the Tiny Titans, included alongside them, isn't fair. He actually fucking demolishes the Tiny Titans here too. I do find it a bit disappointing that we aren't really doing anything with Red Arrow's drug addiction, he is back to normal. There is no doubt, there is no uneasiness. It's like it never bloody happened. Lightmaster, he kidnaps Robert and Donatello, which is a terrifying thought when you take into account what Lightmaster is retconned into being. The remainder of the team bicker over who is to blame for this and what they should do next, with Red Arrow storming off, leaving only the Flask and Mallard Duckling. Lightmaster, he has kidnapped Robert and Donatello, not for sexual pleasure, but because he wants them to betray the Justice League and reveal all the secrets of the Justice League satellite base. He then turns his attention to the remaining Tiny Titans. He faces the Flask, who zigged when he should have zagged. Lightmaster does become a semi-frequent opponent in Tiny Titans comics after this. Apparently, that is seen as an incredible demotion from being a Justice League villain. But Tiny Titans were at the time more popular than the Justice League, so if anything, it's a promotion. Next, we see Lightmaster one-shot Red Arrow. It would be nice if Red Arrow thought to himself, "Bah, humbug, this never would have happened if I hadn't sucked on sweet Lady Heroine." But we're not doing anything like that in this. In fact, what we are doing is just about the hardest story in the world. Mallard Duckling is seen as unworthy of Lightmaster's attention. He has no powers, he's a nobody. But Lightmaster will be proven wrong. Just like Wasps and Dickie Jones did with Kronos in Avengers issue 8. Pretty sure they did something similar with Adam in Justice League of America pretty early on. Now, Mallard Duckling is livid about Lightmaster insulting him and treating him like he is beneath notice. It takes on a whole different flavour if you want to pretend there is some racial allegory here. There's not. It's a writer not clever enough to really do that. We have an example of that lack of cleverness here. Mallard Duckling gans back to base and he spies Swaller from Spit and Swaller's costume. And this gives him an idea. Let's put on another costume instead of that one. For some reason, Gladiator's costume is at Tiny Titans HQ. Is there any explanation ever for this? This is coming 4 or 5 years after Gladiator's appearances in Superman's pal, Ricky Olsen. Is there an appearance where he teams up with the Tiny Titans or something that I don't know about? I actually, maybe controversially, I kind of like the reappropriation of the Gladiator identity here. I like Gladiator overall. It maybe doesn't come across well when I always mention him as a Captain America ripoff. But you've got to remember, I like Captain America. Gladiator is a pretty decent ripoff of Captain America. I like the Jack Quimby version the most, because he is in all these Superman and Superboy comics I have. But there's something to be said about making Mallard Duckling into Gladiator. If you have a Captain America ripoff, Why not do something like this to make it different enough? Gladiator can be a black Captain America. Why not? It's got to be better than trying to make a square peg fit a round hole. They don't keep this as Mallard Duckland's setup though. He instead gets a magic horn and he ditches this outfit and identity. Gladiator, being a black man however, will resurface when Van Morrison introduced a new Gladiator in 2007. I feel I should look at that soon. That one was honestly quite straightforward for Van Morrison. He is also wearing an exoskeleton. I need to mention that. I forgot to say, when Smokey Bear beat Spider-Man, that Smokey Bear was wearing an exoskeleton. And so everybody was confused about how Smokey Bear was able to beat Spider-Man. Lightmaster then attacks the League. I didn't expect a cameo from them, or one of them. The Flask, Boring Barney Allen. This does feel like in a sitcom spin-off, when they can only get one actor to reprise a role from the original. They could only get Boring Barney Allen, but the script insists that all the other Justice League members are currently on the satellite. It is up to our new Gladiator now. It is a decent little piece with him. I really don't mind him as Gladiator. Most of what I know about Mallard Duckland comes from either the Andy books, Who Is Who, he gets an off-page profile in one of those, or from Justice League versus Tiny Titans. He was also on Dome People. Him and his future wife, they wound up on Dome People in the 2000s. Though he was mostly absent from the ongoing star in that version of the team. Right now, though, it is lights out for Lightmaster. And we have a bit where they all punch him in the face. Classic superheroes. Then, Boring Barney Allen tries to give them a lecture. He tries to impart a moral and wisdom, and Red Arrow tells him to pipe down. It's played as straight as the M1, but I can't help but feel like Boring Barney Allen trying to teach them about the power of friendship is so dated and corny, even in 1976, that it can't be entirely serious. This is another comic. I can't remember what it was. Recently, I described something as good but stupid. This is as well. I didn't focus on the silly light gadgets or the giant magnifying glass that Lightmaster said he built and then we never saw in use. Chekhov's magnifying glass. The stupidity is balanced out by a rudimentary comic book narrative, and that keeps it chugging along for 17 pages. I'll hand this a 7 thumbs up.